Chapter 159. Shizun, I'm most afraid of Tianwen. Nangong Liu was outwardly calm, but a sheen of sweat had appeared on his forehead. As he assessed the stranger's abilities, Nangong Liu realized the man wasn't bluffing. His panic grew. In an attempt to salvage the dignity of the world's foremost cultivation sect, he put on a brave front. "Who are you, sir? What do you want, charging into Rufeng Sect after nightfall?" "I told you. I'm here to remind you not to let your son marry a woman he oughtn't." At these words, the guests exchanged furtive glances. Rumors of an affair between Rufeng Sect's Wangxi and Qiutong had spread through the streets and alleyways. Everyone had heard them. The only people still in the dark were probably Wangxi himself and, it seemed, Nangong Liu. But the wedding invitations had been sent and the marriage contract drawn up. If they backed out now, where would that leave Rufeng Sect's reputation? Nangong Liu's lips quivered and he let out a snort. "As long as my son likes the person he marries, it's no one else's business." The black-clad man laughed. "Sect leader is so generous. Perhaps you don't care whether Qiutong's heart belongs to the Nangong family or the Ye family after all." Qiutong was terrified. Face deathly pale and lovely eyes wide, she cried, "You slander me!" "Do I? Shouldn't you, of all people, know just what sorts of naughty things you and Wangxi have been up to?" Wangxi hadn't expected to hear his own name. Startled, it took him a long beat to appreciate what the man in black was implying. Rather than get angry, his first reaction was to burst out laughing. "What nonsense is this?" "It's not nonsense. Every word is the truth. I've seen it with my own eyes." The black-clad man continued in a measured tone. "You spared no expense to save Qiutong at Xuanran Pavilion. The entire cultivation world knows this. One wonders, what was your intention, spending so much money to bring a beauty home, Ye Gongzi?" "I found her in terrible circumstances. Was I to stand by and do nothing?" "All right, you couldn't do nothing. So you saved her. Couldn't you just set her free? Why keep her at your side, even taking her back to Rufeng Sect to be your handmaiden?" "That Miss Song has a butterfly-boned beauty feast is known to all. If I had simply released her, unscrupulous actors would have targeted her at once. I brought her back to Rufeng Sect so she could have a safe place to stay." "So you gave her somewhere to stay. Ye Gongzi must truly be a virtuous ascetic to spend so much time with a beautiful woman without crossing a single line." The man's words dripped ridicule, but Wangxi didn't look ashamed in the least. "My conscience is clear," he stated. But how would anyone believe him? People always judged the intentions of others by the measure of their own experiences. Most of those present were from the upper cultivation world. Had they obtained a butterfly-boned beauty feast for themselves, they would have endured being beaten black and blue in order to shield the prize in their arms for use in dual cultivation or direct consumption. No one believed Wangxi could be innocent. The crowd exchanged glances, face filled with scorn. The originally tense atmosphere shifted, now permeated with a gleeful curiosity. "Sir, I think you're looking for trouble and trying to defame Rufeng Sect." Nangongxi's voice was dark. "Whom I marry has got nothing to do with you. Enough. Piss off back to wherever you came from." "I'm trying to do you a favor here, Nangong Gongzi." The man in black paced around the hall, coming to a stop near Qiutong. He laughed at her and said, "Miss Song, your husband trusts you blindly. No wonder you can stand here without a touch of unease, and fancy yourself the young mistress of Rufeng Sect. Song Qiutong wasn't nearly as calm as the other two. "How dare you impugn my virtue?" she cried nervously. "Between you and Ye, what virtue is there to speak of?" The black-garbed man asked brazenly. "You willingly waited upon him after he saved you. You thought no one noticed the private affair between you. How could you know that I was watching from the shadows? If you didn't want anyone to find out, then you shouldn't have." Song Qiutong cut him off with a sharp cry. "You're lying!" "If I'm lying, why are you shaking so hard?" I'm being bullied. She looked at Wangxi anxiously. "Gongzi!" Wangxi crossed the hall to Song Qiutong and stood before her, shielding her. Eyes wolfish, he leveled a dark and chilling stare at the man in black. "I'm warning you to stop making false accusations." "You'll know whether my accusations are false after I finish speaking." The man laughed. "Gongzi, your beautiful Miss Song has a red birthmark on her left thigh, isn't that so?" Wangxi blinked in astonishment. "You!" "About the size of a grain of rice, scarlet, not dark red, the color of blood. If I didn't see her and Ye doing the deed with my own eyes, how would I know such a specific detail?" "This... Gongzi!" Song Qiutong cried out in panic. She tugged on Wangxi's sleeve and said tearfully, "It's not true. It's not true. He's making it up. He must have spied on me when I was bathing." "Why would I care to watch you bathe?" The man cut in, sounding annoyed. "I'd rather go to Xisheng Peak to see Yuheng Elder." The tale of the female disciple peeping at the Yuheng Elder in the bath was another anecdote enthusiastically passed around the streets of the cultivation world. Hearing it in this context, bolder members of the audience peeked over at Zhuwanning in amusement, only to quickly avert their gazes at the murderous look on his face. The man in black circled Wangxi and Song Qiutong. He clapped his hands and chuckled, as if something had just occurred to him. "That's right, I remember now. Back when Ye bought Miss Song, Han Lin the sage personally placed a dot of chastity cinnabar on her wrist. If Miss Song is indeed unsullied, and every word out of my mouth filthy slander, then this dot of cinnabar must remain on her wrist." He paused, then turned to smile at Song Qiutong, who was trembling miserably from head to toe. "Miss Song, if you're innocent, as you claim, go ahead and show everyone that cinnabar dot. How's that sound?" With sudden understanding, Wangxi turned and consoled Song Qiutong. "It's okay, just show everyone, you—" All the blood had drained from Song Qiutong's lips, and her face was paper white. Shivering, she stared blankly ahead. After a moment, Wangxi asked hesitantly, What's wrong?" Song Qiutong released Wangxi's hand and took a step back. Pulling her sleeve over her hand, she tearfully shook her head. I can't." Wangxi's eyes widened with realization, but he couldn't get a word out. The man in black sneered. "What's wrong? Scared?" No, that's not it. I don't know." Song Qiutong crumpled to the floor, her tears falling like rain. "I'm not sure why. I don't know." She wailed mournfully. "Let me go. I'm begging you." She clasped her sleeve tightly over her hand to hide it from view, but her efforts made her predicament only more conspicuous. She might as well have said flat out that the chastity mark on her wrist had faded, quite as the man had said. The young lady has been betrothed as a virgin, but before the wedding had been celebrated, the red mark on her wrist had disappeared. Even if she jumped into the yellow river, she wouldn't be able to wash her reputation clean. The man in black had taken a breath to continue when a clear, cold voice rang out. In the light of the lanterns, Qiutong's figure stood tall and undaunted as he said, "This mark was present on Miss Song's wrist a few days ago, which contradicts your timeline for this supposed affair. Perhaps you're deliberately sabotaging these young people." For some reason, the black-clad man's eyes flashed with a wordless bafflement. His overbearing manner inexplicably seemed to melt away when he turned to face Qiutong. After a long silence, he heaved a sigh. Some of the onlookers thought, was it their imagination? Or was this man who'd just been spouting such damning words now speaking in a tone that could only be described as indulgent? Qiutong is not wrong, but I didn't say they were already involved back then. I only said they'd had an affair. If we were to pinpoint the timing, I'd say it was in the past few days. Absurd, muttered Wangxi. Qiutong's expression was grave, his manner imposing. Empty words aren't proof. I'll be the judge of whether you speak truth or lies. You. As he spoke, Qiutong's fingertips sparked with golden light. The man's pupils contracted, and he dodged sideways, barely managing to escape the holy weapon Tianwen as it ripped through the air. What does Qiutong mean by this? The man in black asked, both exasperation and amusement in his voice. His martial abilities were excellent. Even Qiutong could immediately ensnare him with the whip. Yet the man didn't strike back, letting the willow vine pursue him around the entire hall. The previously tense atmosphere unexpectedly turned comical. Hey, don't hit me. I'm not done talking. The man beseeched, almost affectionate. If you have complaints, take your mask off, then talk. Qiutong shot back sternly, sword-like brows drawn low. If you want, I'll take it off for you later. I can't right now. Why not? I'm too ugly. It's so bright in here. Everyone will be frightened if they see me. The man in black continued to flee, sidestepping Tianwen. He saw that Qiutong's movements were growing increasingly ferocious. Sensing things were headed south, he flitted behind a wooden pillar to dodge another dazzling golden lash. Wangxi, are you a gentleman or not? The man shouted. Today I'll show everyone your true face. You bought a woman for dual cultivation and forced Song Qiutong to serve you. You overstepped your station to defile your master's wife. You filthy brute. You two-faced beast. Ridiculous, Wangxi retorted furiously. What garbage are you spewing? Have I misspoken? Can you possibly not know why Song Qiutong's chastity mark is gone? The black-clad man yelled as he evaded another strike. Just days ago, she knelt before you and said she was already Wangxi's betrothed. She begged you to let her go and leave her alone. Not only did you refuse to listen, you even said... Wangxi's face was white with rage. What else did I say? Let's hear it. He squeezed out through gritted teeth. Have you forgotten? Need I remind you? You said... The man in black changed his tone to mimic Wangxi's cadence. Miss Song, I staked everything for you, only to become a bystander to your happiness. Now that you've earned Nangonggong's favor, you wish to make a clean break with me? Keep dreaming. He added a wild laugh to the end, sounding like a complete delinquent. Wangxi glared at him in speechless silence.